I love using things that are not meant for divination for divination, and in this video I'm going to talk about using Boggle or other kind of letter word-based games like Scrabble or Bananagrams for your tarot readings. I really like using Boggle instead of the ones that are tiles because these are essentially letter dice, and so I don't have to go turn them over in order to see what words I can make. So if you can get your hands on a Boggle, I really like this. You might also just check a craft store to see if there are like larger letter beads that you could use. I don't know if they'll be the same bead on each side, but I think it's nicer in a reading to just cast the letters and not have to flip things over. But I know a lot of people probably have Scrabble or Bananagrams, and this works great with those as well. Another reason I like Boggle is I'm quite limited. I do not have a giant bag of tiles, so I don't have to have a ton of things to throw on my table. So let me show you how I use it. I use Boggle in two main ways. One is as an oracle and one is as a spread machine. No matter what I am using this for, whether it's a spread machine or an oracle, I have to essentially shuffle them. The Boggle game itself is really loud, and this one's really old. I took this one as a child. This was the game we took with us when I was camping in like the 1980s. So I don't know if there's a newer Boggle game that's like quieter, but I'm not gonna do that while I'm recording because it is so loud to shake that thing. But anyway, you're just casting the letters. So let me shuffle them up. And then I leave them as they are. I don't turn them or twist them, but I start putting them together and I try to find words. Okay, here's one, lax. Here's another one, sub. All right, I'm just finding any word. I'm not judging the words at all. I'm just taking what comes out. Okay, and I don't think I can do much with these. Now, normally I might take a little bit more time just because I don't want you to sit through this while I try to find the perfect word. But these even, I don't know that I can turn this one into a useful word, bead, but sub and lax could be words that I use as an oracle or a spread machine. So at first I just put them together and I find as many words as I can, and then I do go through and think about what they could mean and how I might be able to use them. All right, that's the general way I do it. Let me show you just a couple examples. We'll start with oracle first. So if I'm going to use these as a replacement for oracle cards, I'm going to come to them with a specific question, and then after I find the answer to the question in the Boggle, in the tiles, then I'm going to pull out a tarot deck to dive deeper into it. For this example, let's say I have a friend, somebody who I thought was a very good friend of mine, and they have just really suddenly backed off and kind of ghosting me, or just the bare minimum. Suddenly their behavior towards me has really changed, and I'm looking for some clarity about what's going on and how I can move forward. So again, shuffle, shake, put them in a bag, do what you got to do, but we're going to cast these dice, these letter tiles, these beads, whatever you got, we're going to cast them, and we're going to start putting words together. Now I'm looking for an answer to this. I already found one. Quit, rant, and vary. Okay, you might be seeing other words in here, and that is totally fine. So now I'm going to sit, and I like to journal when I read for myself. So I'm going to look at these and start thinking about, is there something that happened between me and that friend that is making sense when I see these words? Did I forget something? Did we get into an argument? Am I asking a lot lately? Maybe this is not a friend who is willing to be that type of friend for me, and I thought they would be, but they're not. So at this point, I could decide too, are some of these words just not right? There has not been an argument maybe. There's been at least not a rant type argument. I can't think of a time where I, tried to get this friend to let me vent. Not all friends are open to letting you vent to them, right? So let's say I'm just going to take this one out. It just doesn't fit. But there have been some instances recently where these two words do fit. And now I want to know a little more information about it, so I grab my tarot. So I might ask something along the lines of, what do I need to quit? What do I need to let go in order to move on with this relationship? And then I could ask something along the lines of, how can I find the support I need if it's not going to come from this friend? You know, how can I find the support I need through other friendships? So what to let go, I pulled the Four of Wands. And how I can find the support I need, I've got the Six of Pentacles. Letting go, I'm seeing this sort of big, festive experience here. And it sounds to me like this is a friend who I thought was a close friend and who I could lean on for things, but that is not at all what this friend is capable of giving me. And so I need to let go and just focus on these milestones, these moments, you know, getting together to celebrate things with each other, but maybe this friend is not a friend who can be there when times are tough. And how can I find a better balance, a better friend? Who can I turn to? What can I do? And that is around fairness. I look at this card a lot as sort of the cousin to the Justice card. So who in my friend group, my family group, who is open to this sort of thing, to the more difficult sides of friendship? Who's there? Who's been there? So I don't feel alone. I don't feel like I have no one. I just maybe can't turn to that particular friend. All right, let's do one more where I show you how I use it as a spread machine, which is actually probably my preferred way of using these tiles. But again, you can do whatever you want. Okay, same as before. We're just gonna shuffle, shuffle. And maybe I'm just looking for, you know, it's like a focus for the week, something along those lines. Okay, so kind of general type questions, not a real specific one. Try that again, because I had a tile stuck. Let's try it again. Okay. Oh, funny. We've got what? I'm not in love with what as an option, I have to be honest, because I was going to ask like what type questions. And we don't have a lot of vowels here. I'm really in a tight spot with this one. So I might take what apart. What if I do lit, okay, and then I do, champ, okay. So you're not always going to get like a perfect word, but it's going to give you a spark is what I'm looking for. So lit and champ, what can I pay attention to this week? What can I focus on? So when I think of lit, I'm thinking of like my light. What can I let shine, or what can I light up? So then I pull a card. I don't think I shuffled, so let's pull a card. And then champ, I'm thinking champion. What can I champion this week? So for lit, we have the Magician, and for champion, we have Queen of Swords. So I might read this as show my light, show my inner magician, know that I am powerful and I can make things happen in my life, and to not hide that, like light a fire underneath that aspect of myself this week. And what can I champion is Queen of Swords. So I would, in this case, read this sort of my inner Queen of Swords as like I would pull these aspects of my personality out this week. What a great pair, actually. I feel like she would clear the road for the Magician. And so this week I could embody these two cards to really light a fire under myself and to champion myself through my week. I'd love to know if you give something like this a try, or if you've got another thing you use that's like not a divination tool that you put together with tarot or Oracle or Lenormand. Like if you liked the video, subscribe for more tarot content, and thanks for stopping by.